So it's Friday night. I'm here with Mick McLaren and Brett. Brett, what's your surname, Brett?
Brett Biro Ashworth.
Brett Biro Ashworth. And we're on the infamous Cliff Lane, which, as you'll know, if you've listened to Paul Sinclair and you've read Truth Proof, this is the infamous lane that takes you to the RSPB bird sanctuary, which aka weirdest place on planet, Bempton Cliffs tops. So we've just arrived after a bit of a delay today travelling. We're here for a couple of nights, so it's Brett's first visit. Mick and I have been before, so we're hoping that the lights do show, which they often do for newcomers. Now, whether that's just pure coincidence, which I don't think it is, we fingers crossed that Brett gets to see him tonight, because there's quite a few of us are up there to go and meet Paul now, so let's see what happens. So here we are up at Bempton. I don't know whether you can hear me, it's very windy as usual, no surprise there. It's starting to rain a little bit, but it should blow over hopefully. Can't see a great deal. But that just, you know, if you just turn that way, this is it, it's just pitch black. And it was, the skies were pretty clear when we arrived, but it's not anymore. These clouds are blown in and it's gone a bit grim, so hopefully I'll film a little bit more when we're just going to have a walk up to the base, get some torches on it, and sometimes stuff appears up there.
Lots of videos of a ledge break.
I'll shine it on base, mate. Yeah.
No, it's stopped.
What is that?
It's a what? Around the thing. Dead still. Well, that's over the bays there. It's moving.
What is that?
I don't know. We've seen that. Shall I let it go then?
It's moved slightly down, hasn't it?
He's over there. That's his torch.
It's just gone down behind hill.
Behind it.
So what is that then? What do?
Now and again, we've seen this on quite a few occasions.
So we're on the beach. James Dyke, there's Brett, there's Mick. There's the weird fishing trawler nets out at sea there. Oh! What was that? Must have been a lens flare. Mick with his mini lighthouse torch. Difficult to walk along the beach when it's like this in the middle of the night. Oh, shit. So on the beach. It's not too late, it's about 11 o'clock. Maybe a bit later actually. You can hear me, it's very windy. It's not as bad as it lets you. There's a bit of protection, but just coming too early. It's low tide at the minute, obviously, that's why we're out here, but yeah, tide's on its way in. Well, maybe a while yet, but love to see the lights out tonight, but no such sign just yet of it. This is how we spend our time. You know, many people would say, "Get a life, Chris. What are you doing, man? Grow up." But this is the unexplained. This is what researching this subject is about. These are the, even in, nearly in December now, it's bloody freezing, and here we are. But this is what I've been doing for 15 years, chasing these mysteries, and people like Paul Sinclair. It's got Mick McLaren, who's been researching for 20 years, ley lines, dowsing. Brett's been into the subject for 20 years. We've just filmed the lights up on, or one light up at Bempton, bit of a mystery. We don't know what that was, and it's commonplace. To be fair, it's commonplace. It makes it difficult when the weather's like as it is, but this is what it is. This is where we are. Bit weird, isn't it? I always get the one at the back. Here I am at the back. Wandering around Dyke in the dark. It's funny when you come to these places. What happens if you see what you're wanting to see? You absolutely shit yourself. That's what happens. But here we are. So there's obviously a part of us that believes we are not going to see it. So does that mean there's a part of us that doesn't believe? It's weird. I've got friends that know what I do that say, why are you going unarmed? Two reasons really. One, the chance of coming across one of these things is very slim. Two, what's a weapon going to do against something like that anyway, unless you've got a double barrel shotgun, and even then you might be pushing it. So you may as well just bring nothing. You'd be better begging for your life, I think. Is that tree with? So, just making our way down to the part on the main road, on the entrance into Dyke, where the dogman werewolf creature, whatever it is, it's been described in various forms. The descriptions vary, to be honest. There's one description where they say, I think that Paul took a sighting, Paul Sinclair, where someone said its eyes were sparkling. Just weird stuff. So wandering down the main track. So this is, here we are at Dyke, and this is another infamous, where the 4 sightings are. Underneath the main road is this little tunnel which runs along this part of the dyke where the water gets quite deep at times, and runs through there. And obviously up here is the road. It's absolutely pitch black on that road, no lighting whatsoever. So yeah, this is where it's been seen, and you wonder if you were to fish around, which Paul and I did a couple of years ago, and I don't know whether Paul gets down here. I think he has been down here with Bob quite a few times looking for prints, but this would be the place to find the prints for sure, down there. But with the amount of rain we've had, you would imagine it to be a lot more water, wouldn't you? Down there. I've come to Speeton today, Speeton Beach. Just having a wander down here. This is the place of many weird sightings. So, met up with Paul Sinclair. He's just giving us a mini tour at the place again. Love this. I mean, look at the views, it's just incredible, really. Speeton, a well-known fossil hunting beach, this one. And this is one of the turrets that's fell down from up here somewhere. Well, all this, I mean, look at it. You can see this one here. It used to be years and years ago up there on the hill in the war defences. Fascinating, really, and the tide's on its way in, so I've not got much time today. But we come away and the weather's never plays ball at Bempton. You're just guessing, really. It's supposed to be a nice day today. It's okay, to be honest. It's done a bit of raining this morning, but anyway, onward. Yeah, so now we're here today, we may as well do a little bit to camera, I think, about last transmission, what we're up to, and eventually we have, a pair of us eventually looking at our schedules, we've got round to actually planning.
Getting a show kick-started.
Yeah, I mean, I've been asked many times to work with you on a podcast. People have asked me about it and just said, you should do something. So, I know we're busy, aren't we? But
it's worth doing, isn't it? You know, it's worth doing, and I know how much kind of pleasure it gives our viewers at Truth Proof, so I don't see why last transmission shouldn't be any different.
No, we'll give it a go, and I think when people say they've not got time, we have got time, we've just got to make the time.
We've got to make time,
and I think if people are good enough to give up their time to watch it, it's worth us doing it, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get on it. So
let's get it on. Yeah. Let's do it.
So Bempton is for anyone that hasn't been, it's such a difficult place to describe, because the daytime videos, yeah, it's beautiful, and it's obviously it's an RSPB, so it's a bird sanctuary, isn't it? So you've got the tourists throughout the summer, you know, into the autumn, but in October you then get the fishermen who bizarrely fish off the edges of the cliffs, and so that is crazy. You look through the thermal scopes and you can see them sat on the edge, and sometimes hanging off the edge on ledges. And the North Sea's blowing, you've got 30 mile an hour winds, 40 mile an hour winds.
I don't know how they do it.
I have no idea how they're doing that. But to try and, obviously Bempton's getting more and more popular now, so when you go, it's your first time, hasn't it? It's been your first time this weekend. Yeah. What do you think? What did you make of it?
I thought it was thrilling. It was fantastic. It was beautiful, so calming and peaceful. And when it gets dark, it's quite spooky. But I didn't feel scared at all, obviously, because we were in a group. But But then when we did start to see a couple of things, it was exhilarating. Yeah.
So on that first night, we were lucky enough to film the light just over the hill, over the famous hill. I mean, it was far off in the distance, obviously, but it was static for at least a couple of minutes. I mean, how long that light had been there before Paul spotted it, I think.
The footage I got was about 2 minutes and 44 seconds long.
Yeah.
Before it disappeared.
Yeah. And that, I've been a number of times, Mick, you've been a few times now, when you see them, that is like, that's kind of normal up here. That's sort of, I mean, you get, when people say the lights at Bempton, it used to be, when I started coming up here in 2017, the lights we saw were the huge, with the orange, and it just sort of explode into life across the sky, and you can't, these are not conventional aircraft of any description, not that I'm aware of.
No, they're moving from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Just like that.
And they're not satellites, because we've been filming satellites for years. We know what a satellite looks like. But for your first time up there, I've realised now over the last 7 years that you get the orange, bizarre ones that everybody wants to see. You then get the bright white ones that do the same. And then you get what we filmed yesterday, and we filmed one tonight as well. You just get static orbs, lights in the sky that just, on the odd occasion they'll pulse slightly, but nothing major. But certainly not, they're not helicopters, because again we filmed many of them tonight. Again, conventional aircraft. You can't mistake these things for conventional aircraft. So, but it's this time of year. It's almost December now. It's ironically they start the fishing season in October, which is bizarre, isn't it? Really, when you think about how dangerous it must be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to do it, but here we are saying it's dangerous, and we're up there looking for werewolves. I mean, anyone watching this must think we're mad. But if you read the Truth Proof books and you watch the Truth Proof channel, you'll see any number of phenomena has been seen up there. Anything you can think of, pretty much, has been seen up there. It's just a bizarre cocktail of weirdness, isn't it? Because you've filmed stuff up here previous to that.
Yeah, we've had what looks like, on the footage itself, what looks like maybe a deer in front, and then a big cat following it. You see the flick of the tail as it's moving along. Going at the base of this.
Right. So you think that the cat would, after the deer,
stalking the deer?
Well, saying that, I mean, when you look at it on the footage, it looks like a deer, but it's because of how it jumps. But there's a fencing that runs along, and if it was a cat jumping, it would look like a deer jumping over. But it had this other cat behind it, so I believe it was two cats. But the way it jumped and the way it moved, it looked like a deer. How it would jump over something.
Yeah.
And that was on camera, looking back at the camera. But the last cat moving along, you do see the tail for a second.
Well, the big cats I've been seeing up here, because Paul's filmed one. He's got the thermal video of it, so we know they're up here.
Not only that, with the psionics, we saw the eye shine of these two things moving along. Once they'd moved that way and gone up the top of the hill, they were moving that way, and I think, not stalking, but I think they were watching us as we were moving along, and we could see the eye shine. We saw this like green, almost green eye tint, like a traffic light green, moving along, following us back while we were going towards the car park.
Yeah, a lot of people have. It's a strange place, because sometimes when you've been filming and you're trying to film the lights, or whatever, you're looking to try and film the lights usually, a lot of people have been on the way back to car park, and they've got to the car park, and strange Paul and other people that have gone up filming with Paul have had strange lights coming out of the ground. It's just a bizarre place altogether.
But what is bizarre is that was the first time we ever came, and when we come later on, you know, a couple of years after, we've actually captured at the side of the shed at the side one eye movement, which was quite high up, and this blinked out as we were watching, as it was being filmed. Now, we didn't see until we actually went back and watched it on a bigger screen.
Right.
We saw this eye like watching us, and then it closed. And behind there's just bushes. There's no lights behind that could cause that light behind.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just a strange place. I think we've been pretty lucky, really. You know, you get a small window. We came up on Friday, late Friday night, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you have got a pretty small window up there because of the weather. It's gale force winds usually. It's very, very, very cold.
Yeah.
So by the time you've done 4 hours, you've got to keep moving. You've kind of had enough. But in that short window, I mean, Paul and Lenny, we met up there, and the other guys that come up in the week sometimes, they're up here 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And even at 4 times a week, even they admit it's a very small window to try and see. But they've managed to capture some amazing things. If you want to see those things, there's some of the amazing footage. Go on to Truth Proof and watch some of Paul's videos, some of the lives as well, to see some of the evidence that they've captured from Bempton. It's bizarre.
Well, one of them, what fascinates me is the lights under the water.
Yeah, so it's not just the cliff tops. They've filmed USOs as well. And they've got footage of lights going into the water. I think they've got footage of stuff coming out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, just everything you can think of. But it's a weird one, because you always think, when I come here, I've been here so many times and seen nothing. But you always seem to, when there's a new person who's never been, you always seem to see. I mean, I was really hoping you'd see something more spectacular. Yeah. But
I was pretty confident that we would see something quite grand.
Yeah, but
I am happy we did see what we did see tonight.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of something, but
and the night before.
It's much better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's enough to whet your appetite to want to come back. That's kind of that's what the phenomena tends to do.
It does drag you back.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times I've been back here, and I mean, this trip I weren't expecting it, but yeah, you know, coming back and seeing them, it sparked me to want to come back and carry on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's enough to whet your appetite. And obviously on Friday, yesterday, we went to Dyke as well, where a lot of strange stuff's been filmed in there as well. So you guys have done investigations in there as well, haven't you?
We've done quite a few in there, yeah, and we've ended up being at a certain place where we turned the lights off and being in complete darkness, and what sounded like something was moving around us. And what's strange about that is, on this side, it's moving around us, and there's all like trees and that. And then on the side behind us, it goes down, straight down into the Dyke itself.
Yeah, into the Dyke, yeah.
And it sounded as though it were walking round that way as well. So it was walking round in a circle. But how could it do it?
Yeah, it's physically impossible,
like that.
Yeah.
But when we turn the lights on, nothing at all. And this had been caught on the parabolic as well. The sound of it moving around and a growl. And when we were there the other night,
yeah, we thought we heard something, didn't we? Yeah. It's we're lucky because we're in a bit of small group, like the three of us. But I wouldn't like to be there. I mean, I don't think I'd want to be there on my own, really.
No.
To be honest. Certainly not at Bempton.
It would terrify you being on your own.
Yeah, I think so.
And hearing something like that, or experience. When I was one time, and I was walking along with an EMF, and I had something that hit the side of my arm, knocked the EMF out of my arm, and I ended up with a bruise on me on that side of my arm.
Did you take a picture of it? The bruise?
I took a picture of it, and it's on my phone.
Right, okay.
And as it did that, the EMF fell out of my hand, but it was going off at the time.
Yeah.
It was reaching.
It was taking
and
readings as
yeah,
it was going.
yeah. It hit the floor and then turned itself off.
Right.
But, you know, at that point, we were going to move on and go to the cliffs after that, back to the cliffs. But we ended up coming back to the caravan we were in at that time because I just didn't want to go any further.
It's going to shake you up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it really shut me up.
Yeah, well, I
Shake
think
anybody.
Paul's had things in the woods where it's pulled in.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some weird stuff going on, and certainly at Danes Dyke, in that dip where we were stood on the main road, and it's really even. I mean, we were up there. Maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, was it? When we were there, 1:30, was it? When we were there yesterday.
About 1:30, I think.
1:30.
I mean, there's no traffic. There's no lights actually. It's absolutely pitch black. Even on the main roads, it's pitch black. And in that dip on the main road, it's been seen there. I'm sure it's been seen on over either 3 or 4 different occasions. Might even be more than that. But that one particular sighting with a guy on the motorised cart, on the disability scooter, I think it is, and he's coming down, and it's stood at the side of the road, and he's yet to go past it. I mean, that must have been terrifying.
Did he actually see it though, as he was?
Yeah, he saw it, and he's approaching it. He's coming down the hill. He can't go back up. He lives that way. He's got to go that way. And all right, they're not really slow, but they're not super fast either. Yeah, it must have been terrifying to have to drive past it as it stood there. But yeah, again, one of the weird things is that you never. Not saying that it doesn't happen, but here I've never heard of one attacking anybody.
Yeah.
Just seems to be that fear element that it likes to.
Well, you don't, do you? You don't hear of that in this country. You don't hear of
not really, no.
attacking anyone.
No.
But,
Wild animal attacks or anything like that.
No.
They will blame it on a wild animal if it was to come out.
Oh, I suppose so, yeah. Yeah, but I think it's supposed to do with fear.
But why show yourself otherwise? He didn't need to do that. It saw him coming. It knew somebody was coming. If it
Wouldn't you think it'd turn around and disappear?
Could have just slipped backwards into the.
could have just stepped backwards
bush.
into the brush, and just. But it chose to scare the living
stay
daylights out
there,
of him, Which again, that infers intelligence and an agenda to me. I mean, it's. I don't know, but then again, when it's been seen on the cliff tops on so many occasions now, it's clocked the witness that has seen it, and it's just gone. So it knows not to be. It's kind of like on occasion it wants to be seen, and on other occasions it clearly doesn't.
Well, you can imagine if it's feeding on somebody's fear, to actually see something like that will put the fear of God into you straight away.
Genuinely, I would have thought so. Yeah.
So it doesn't really have to do anything but stand there.
No, but there's the other thing is that there's at least 2 or more different descriptions of this thing. You've got the one sort of more werewolf looking thing that the squaddies described as a hyena werewolf scary thing, and then you've got the other more slender, athletic looking Harry Potter type werewolf. That's what they describe it as. So you've got. That's clearly 2 different things people are seeing, which is again in itself is really odd. I mean, like I agree with Paul. There's no way that there's a breeding population of a cryptid like that up here. There's just not.
Yeah.
So it's definitely some. Is there an occult connection to it? I don't know. But it's just too weird.
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard to think what it could be.
You can speculate. I mean, it's all speculation anyway.
Alien.
Yeah. I get the feeling with some of it there is an occult connection to it. I can't necessarily back that up with any evidence whatsoever, but I just get a feeling that it is. Just little elements in some of the stories that are skinwalker-esque a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, when you think of ritual and what people do within ritual, within the occult, how they they try and produce an entity.
Yeah.
Could it be that? But why does it always come across as a dogman? Why should they bring an entity through and it looks like a dogman?
That's the question. You know, I mean, then you get the ancient race of dog-headed beings that people talk about. Is there some weird connection to that? Something to do with the history of this place? We know there's the wolf connection. If you watch the film Wolflands that Paul did, throughout that you get told about all the history of the places with wolf in the name, the name of the pub in the deeds, the is it Farmstead of the Hound Man? Is it Hunmanby means translates to? It's just so there is a connection to it historically, but
and then we've got Doggerland.
Well, you've got the Doggerland Bridge, but what I'm saying is that a lot of places have a connection to, you know, a wolf or an animal, but you don't necessarily see bipedal versions of it, you know, stood on the side of the road. It's like too weird. It's just very odd.
Well, it's funny how they show themselves as well, seem to show themselves around ancient burial mounds as well as cemeteries.
Well, especially around here, because you've got all sorts of ancient burial mounds. And is it one of the old, in truth, proof, in Wolflands, do they talk about it's one of the oldest shamanic places?
Which is...
Is it Flixton? Or is it?
It is. Statson Road.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. And you've got the burial mound, you've got the Willie Howe burial mound as well.
Yeah.
So everything about the whole thing, everything about it is just bizarre. So it's been a decent weekend, really, but it's never long enough, is it?
Never. No. You want to stay a lot longer.
And of course, the weather, plays a massive part. I mean,
at this time of year,
you expect it. We're in the northeast, Yorkshire. It's gonna rain. It's gonna be windy. It's gonna be cold, but we've done all right. I think out of 10, probably I'd give it maybe a 6. Because you really want the clear skies. I mean, on Friday when we turned up, it looked like a blanket of just diamonds in the sky.
Stars.
It was amazing.
I think we had an hour of that. And then it would
the clouds came. And
it just disappeared. Cloud cover,
rain,
game over.
briefly.
Yeah.
But tonight wasn't too bad though, because we got there with cloud and then it cleared up.
It did.
Cleared up a bit, enough to give you a little bit of sky watching to do, and generally you always you see, like you said, you do see if you look long enough, you will see obscure, strange behaviours. They're not satellites, whatever. I don't know what they are, but they're not satellites.
Don't zigzag and
they don't zigzag. No,
they don't go 6-7 times brighter and then go back, or go out and then like a shooting star comes from the same spot it went out.
For sure. I mean, I just think it's just. My personal thoughts is that because of the amount of military bases in this area of the country, I definitely think there's a military element to at least some of it.
Well, I mean, you think about it today, being at Speeton, and then you've got Bempton, you've got all that land there.
Yeah.
And it's, they've got military bases.
It's military bases, yeah.
They may be connected underground.
I think they definitely. It just makes logistical sense that they would be connected underground. I don't think it's a big secret. I wouldn't have thought it's a big secret with people in the north. So, definitely with some of the craft, I think they're definitely ours, but those lights, I don't think they're ours. They're just...
like I was saying earlier on, I think we got 50% ours.
I would say 50, it's more than that, but yeah.
The other 50.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people had very, very close encounters. I've not been lucky enough to see anything like that, but we'll keep coming up, won't we? Until
lucky or unlucky.
Or unlucky, yeah, depending how you look at it. But we'll just keep coming up and just keep, this time of year, ironically though, is the time when, there's a lot happening at the minute. So, I think, the more eyes that are on the cliffs
And it's not just out at sea now, it's everywhere. It's all round 360.
Well, that's it. I mean, when I first started coming, it was all out.
Yeah, it's all out at sea.
And now I'm seeing it behind.
Yeah. It's like and different. And is it, like I say, loads of people, we've discussed it many times, is it one phenomenon? Is it playing a game? Is it, I don't know.
I think at the moment it seems to be there's more happening now than there were a couple of years back with the lights.
Yeah.
For myself and people.
Yeah, I mean, there's more and more people coming up now. I mean, I think just the people that Paul knows of, you know, that approach him and saying, you know, I've come up. I think there's a lot more people that don't approach Paul and that come up and just, you know, there's a lot of and that's the other thing that I want to mention. Paul and Lenny were saying that now, and you can see it on when you come through the car park and approach the path down to the cliffs. The RSPB have now acknowledged. Welcome to RSPB Bempton. What is it? Find out more about the mysteries of Bempton.
The mysteries of Bempton, yeah.
Find out, and there's a picture of an alien and a picture of a light.
Yeah.
On the board. So even they're acknowledging and actually welcoming people. To come and view the stuff, which is weird, really. So it is definitely it might be a tongue-in-cheek nod, but it's a nod to say there's weird stuff happening here. So yeah, let's just hope they don't close the access to it. So yeah, roll on to the next one, eh?
Yeah, and I hope it's pretty soon.
So first thing this morning, we met up with Paul Sinclair down at Speeton, which is like I love it at Speeton. So you've not first time.
First time.
I think it's just amazing.
Won't be the last.
Yeah, it's incredible the view, the whole beach and the view, and you've got the old turrets that have fallen down off the cliff tops onto the beach.
Yeah.
You got the waves coming in, 400-foot cliffs.
Equally as beautiful as some places in Cornwall. It's
got a real
stunning
energy about it. That place. It's beautiful, but
beautiful.
Also you can definitely see how Speeton's got the reputation, because Paul thinks Speeton is actually more phenomena going on than up at Bempton. So we had a long walk along that beach this morning.
And even longer coming back.
Yeah, Paul.
We nearly missed our chance to get up where we parked.
We did. The tide were coming in, actually. I mean, we were all right. There's always a way off that beach as it happens. There's a lot of steps going up, but yeah, we cut it a little bit closer than we'd intended. But yeah, so yeah, I always whenever I come here, if you do come here, get yourself down to Speeton as well on the beach.
Regret it, yeah.
There's all sorts to do on Speeton. It's renowned for fossils and sea glass and all sorts of stuff. Away from, you know, if you do decide to come with your family and you're the one into weird stuff, your family have got stuff to do with kids and collecting sea glass and whatnot. And it's just generally, obviously you're out of season if it's a seaside place anyway, but you're out of season now, so everything's kind of shut down. But and it's going dark at 4:45. It's dark, you know. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to stay up there till 2 a.m. or stay like we did till 2 a.m. But if you don't, look, someone's got to be out there to see the stuff, haven't they? You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So hopefully
you can't just go up for an hour and expect to see something. You've got to be out there longer.
I think people will definitely. It's like this. It's like, look, this is the game of chasing. Even if you're not up at Bempton, even if you're researching and you're trying to see phenomena, it's not going to happen overnight.
Lots of people who do see, they don't expect to see anything. They're not thinking about that subject.
Absolutely.
They're just going about their business, chilling or looking for sea glass.
Yeah.
But then glance something and what's that, you know, and it's changed their worldview in a second.
But it's like you were saying, I mean, even other areas where strange things happen, you know, you've got Winter Hill. I'm out there doing what I do, and I can go out there, 4 weeks in a row, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
And then something will happen, and again, nothing. You've got to be out there doing it, Otherwise, you're not going to see anything.
It's true, yeah.
You've got to be boots on the ground looking for these things.
Yeah, you have to
Looking
be
up
out.
at the sky all the time, you will definitely see something. But not, like just walking around certain areas and not. If you go in there and you're not looking for things, you're sort of not going to see things.
No, you're not giving yourself the best chance. And also, just to mention kit, between like the three of us, Paul and Linda, between three of us, we had every bit of kit you can think
tonight,
of
yeah, definitely.
to try and detect the phenomena in any shape or form. But you've got to be out and about, and you've got to be using that kit if you want to really give yourself a good chance to see anything.
I mean, tonight we had, 2 Geiger counters.
Geiger counters,
we had the
thermals,
magnetic anomaly detector.
magnetic anomaly detectors, 2 IRs. You've got psionics. You've got the other infrared photo cameras.
Yeah. We had quite a bit of tech up there tonight.
They had some stuff in the bags that they didn't get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can take as much kit as you like. If it's not if the phenomenon doesn't want to show itself, then it doesn't show itself, and it's just a patience game.
It's just good to have it out there, just in case something does happen. But I mean, we saw the lights tonight.
Well, you would be devastated if you didn't have the kit to film it.
Yeah.
At least we managed to film it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, look, at the end of the day, I think everybody in this game has the patience for it, or else you wouldn't be in the game.
True.
You can't expect to just see it. It just doesn't work like that. Sometimes you're lucky and you do.
Well, there was one point where the infrared camera had turned off, and me and Lenny were just stood there talking. And then I sort of looked at him and said, "Did you see that then?" And he said, "Yeah, I did see it. And it was a light. And it actually came down quick and went straight back up. A little tiny light moving down and then back up again."
Really?
And, and he said, "Oh, it's still recording?" I said, "No, turn it off."
Yeah.
So it weren't caught, but it was there.
Yeah, always the way. Always the way.